Blades, so Huddersfield Town at home today for United. Not much to talk about over the last few days apart from Ramsdale's transfer to Arsenal has been confirmed for around 24 million. Hopefully them funds get put straight back into the first team because we're very desperate for some signings. Less said about the game on Wednesday the better, but hopefully it is the catalyst for us to start playing like we know we can. We've got some good players in this squad. It's about time they start showing it, innit? So lineup wise, Bernie and Brewster started up front. We stuck with a midfield flat three. Still sceptical about that. I do think we need an attacking midfielder in there. Ben Davies made his first start. Same with Norton Davies for us in the league. Excited to see both of them play. I think they can both be very good players for us. And Wes Fodringham starts in goal. It was evident from the start we were wanting to be more controlling on the ball and more attacking, which is exactly what we did. We got our foot on the ball. We made some good passes, but same story as it has been for a while. Finishing and service is a big problem for us. As soon as we got to their box or out wide, we either put a poor cross in or we just did not know what to do and turned back on ourselves. We need a creative player in there that can make things happen, that can be the link from the midfield to the strikers. Otherwise, it's going to be the same story as last season, just not scoring any goals, strikers up there on their own, and us just losing tight games. Bird, I thought, had a much better first half than he has for a while. Certainly looked much more like the player we expected to see when he signed for us. Got his foot on the ball, took players on, tried to make something happen. I think he would work with an attacking player because there'd be another player there with him. But at the moment, he is kind of stuck just playing in that flat three. We had a few chances. McBurney had an overhead kick that got well saved. He had another header, but apart from that, not many. Want to see maybe Freeman, Bogle come on in the second half, give us a bit more of an attacking flair and a bit more intent going forward. But fingers crossed we can make this pressure count. I'll let the lads tell you what happened. Up the Blaze.
Hi everybody, Pompey here, from deepest, darkest Dorset. I'm currently on a camping holiday, so do forgive me. Today I ventured down to Weymouth and tried to catch up with the stream. I managed to get it on stream in the end, in a pub, and I saw, the match itself. But the second half, this is what we're talking about now. The second half, because of the first half, there's so much attacking football. One was expecting that we'd just go on and win the game. To be honest with you, there was a lot of venture that was going on that was good. There was some good developmental play. It was a whole load better, wasn't it, in the first half from the last game. So in the second half, what you expected Sheffield United to do was to go on, just go up through the gears, take it to the next level, and then just beat Huddersfield by 3, maybe 4-0. I mean, it's possible, isn't it? We started to attack and we started to get nowhere. It was the same old thing, wasn't it? Up across the back, down the flanks, get blocked in, crosses into the box, nothing happening. Shots on goal, blocked against. Their keeper really didn't have to make a save in the second half that I could think of, which was a bit of a shame really, because there was a lot of venture, there was a lot of endeavour going on throughout the whole of that particular second half period. And then I thought to myself, something's going to happen, and it did. Sort of 25 minutes in, we went flaccid. We started to let them come back at us, and they started to attack in little bits and bobs. There was breaks forward, which Norrington Davis was intercepting, and then Egan to get in the way. And I felt that wouldn't it be funny if they just got a goal out of nowhere, and then they got a goal out of nowhere, and then we were on the back foot, and then we could get nowhere. We could get nowhere anywhere fast. And everything was slipping away from us. We brought substitutes on. Billy was involved. McBurney was busy diving and appealing for penalties and things such as that. And it all went a bit bloody wrong, didn't it? And it went so wrong that my battery died on my phone and I missed at 1-0 the drama that came at the end. So I'm sorry if I can't complete my report about the second half, because I happened to look up with a dead phone in my hand at the score because they had the BT coverage on the pub TV, and suddenly it was 1-2 to Huddersfield. I phoned my friend, I said, what happened? And he said, you really don't want to expletive know. I could only much expletive guess what had happened, that we'd just given the game up again. And I didn't quite catch the boos or if there was any derisory calls as the players trudged off the pitch. It's a shame. we lost again. So I don't know what's going to happen, and hopefully someone's going to tell us where we're going to go from here. Anyway, this is Pompey. Up the Blades.
All right, Blades fans. Time for the player ratings. Everyone's favorite part of these fans react videos. I know, because you get to tear me apart. I'm going to be harsh on some people. I'm going to be lenient on some people, because that's how this game felt today. It was a tale of two halves. It was a smash and grab by Huddersfield. However you want to categorize it. We lost, so I feel real bad, but we played well, so some of these players are going to get ratings reflecting that. We'll start off in goalkeeper, Wes Fotheringham. I feel like he has done better than I was thinking he was going to, but I think that only is because he didn't do anything in the first half. Like, there was zero opportunities that Huddersfield had, and when it came to the second half and they did get their opportunities, he didn't save them. So I'm going real harsh on Wes. A 3 from me, probably should be higher, but I got to hold somebody responsible for these unlucky team errors, and unfortunately it's Wes today. Moving on to the defense. Chris Basham, in my opinion, gets a 6. I thought he was really effective in his overlapping role. Slavisa must have just given him free rein to go down that right side. I thought it was really effective. We created a lot of overloads and a lot of possession on the right side. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of quality chances, but it was there. It was that one final step from finished product. So I liked that. 6 for Basham. Egan today gets a 5.5. He was good, solid as always, but and it's again, do I point a finger at one individual for the second goal? I can't really, but he was very lackadaisical when it came to closing down on that ball that got cleared from the corner. He just took his time getting to the ball, and that allowed Huddersfield to turn possession back in towards our goal, make that one pass, make that second pass, and have the goal. So in my opinion, if Egan had stepped a little faster, closed down a little harsher, maybe would have prevented that and we came away with a point. So 5.5 for Egan from me today. Ben Davies, great debut, 6 from me. I liked his passing. It was clean, crisp passes. Towards the end there, you could see some of the tiredness, some of the lack of match fitness coming into play. Some of the passes started going a little wayward. I don't think it created any of the chances directly for Huddersfield, but it definitely wasn't as clean and crisp as it was for the first 60 minutes of the game. But overall, 6 for Ben Davies from me. On to our wing backs. I like playing the 2 wing backs. I thought it was really good. Baldock, Reece Norrington-Davis, both excellent choices. I think we need to see Bogle at some point. So Baldock for me gets a 5. Very effective running up and down the side of the pitch. The crosses were good, but again, we're not meeting any heads. We're not meeting the targets inside the box, and so I think we need to try a Jayden Bogle who can dribble into the box and just work the ball inside and then create a different kind of chance, because these crosses are not being effective. They weren't effective last year. They aren't effective so far this year. But alas, I'm getting on my soapbox again. Baldock, 5. Reece Norrington-Davis, another great debut, 5.5 from me. I think he might be the answer if we're playing a true wing back on the left side. I'd like him in that position. I thought he did well defensively. I thought he did well going forward. A couple shots outside the box that I think it was a little unnecessary. Work the ball around, try to find a better angle. But other than that, I thought he did well, so 5.5. Onto our midfield. We had Fleck, Norwood, Berge, the same 3 basically that we've been playing all this year and all of last year. Fleck for me gets a 4.5. I thought he had some good moments, but the full potential of John Fleck's game has not come back yet from what we saw 2-3 seasons ago. Norwood for me gets a 3.5. Had some very, very bad errors. Still can't deliver set pieces to the level that we know he can and that he should be doing. These are set pieces. These are free opportunities that we can practice constantly on the practice field, and we should be doing better from these. So a 3.5 for Norwood from me. And Berge gets a 6. Only because he finally came out of his shell in that first half. He was the player that we need him and wanted him to be. But the second half, he just got tired again and just wasn't there clinically on defense. And so a 6 from me is, again, that's one of the positive ratings for today. On to our strikers. Brewster and McBurney starting off the game. I gave Brewster a 5, McBurney a 5.5. I think Brewster did well, but just wasn't there. Kind of like, it looked like Brewster of last season a little bit, where there wasn't a lot of opportunities. He didn't get the ball a lot, unlike earlier in the season when he was playing out on the wing. He got the ball a lot more. It just wasn't natural for him. So we'll have to see where Brewster fits in going forward, but I think he needs to be playing. He had a very good showing today. I loved the support he got from the fans when he came off the field. McBurney, amazing chance right at the end of the first half. For me, that's why he's getting a slightly higher rating than Brewster, because he had an amazing bicycle kick, almost beat the keeper there. Like, that would have been the goal of the season for me, but alas, it wasn't to be, and just didn't create a lot else. Did have some good hold-up play, some good aerial play today, but the final product just wasn't there quite to the end. The subs today, Billy Sharp wouldn't have been my choice to bring on, but it worked. Unfortunately, it worked at the end of the game and not earlier, where we could have gotten 2 or 3 goals from him. But a 6.5 from me today, because he scores the goal. Billy Sharp always scores goals, so I'm just glad he's a part of the team in any capacity, and the fact that he can be our goal scorer is good, but we need other people to score goals at some point. The other 2 subs, Osborne and McGoldrick, 4s from me today. I don't know if those were the right choices, but they just didn't get enough game time, especially after being down a goal, because those subs came right after the first Huddersfield goal. Those, I don't think, were the choices that were going to win us a game. And finally, Slavisa Jokanovic, manager rating today, gets a 2. He made some changes to the team, let them play in that creative formation that they're used to, that they're comfortable with, and we saw that in the first half. It just didn't yield the goals. And when it came to putting on the subs, we didn't look at Luke Freeman. We still haven't looked at Jaden Bogle. And I think those are some players that we're going to have to rely on going forward, because just crossing the ball into the box hasn't been working. So a 2 from me today for Slav, but hopefully going forward we have some more positives and negatives. So I'm going to turn it over to them now.
As much as I'm frustrated and angry with how the game ended and the manner in which we've lost that game, there are some positives from tonight. I think that was our best performance of the season so far, and having compared it to recent performances, particularly West Brom on Wednesday night, that's not saying a lot, but I think that was our best performance so far. There were some signs there that we were looking better and improving, and ultimately we've scored a goal, which we hadn't done yet, so that has to be a positive. I thought that although we were looking better, it has to be acknowledged that we were playing a poor side. I don't think Huddersfield are a good team. I don't think they're going to be troubling anywhere near the top of the table. So taking that into account, however, I thought our play was the best I've seen for a while. I thought I wouldn't maybe go as far to say we were creating a lot of chances, but we were having the ball in the final third. There were balls being put onto the box that on another day, if a player could have connected, hopefully a striker had connected. But there were signs there that some of our attacking play was getting better. I thought, in terms of a couple of the players, I thought Ben Davies, new signing, looked very good. He impressed me. He looked comfortable on the ball. He looked pretty good defending, which is his job. I know it was him that ultimately got dispossessed for the winner, which personally I thought was a foul. But on the whole, for a debut, he's been with us for a week. I thought he looked very good. Thought a player that will improve our defence without a doubt. Also thought Reece Norrington-Davies on left wing back looked good. Obviously came into the side. I think he's proved that certainly at the moment, while Ender Stevens is injured, he's probably our best bet at left wing back. I think there's an argument for what will happen moving forward when Ender's back. But certainly for now, I'm more than comfortable with Norrington-Davies. I thought he looked good, fit into the team well. I also thought Berg looked more of the player that we want him to for a period of the game. I'd say for probably 15-20 minutes before half-time, and then maybe 10-15 minutes into the second half. I thought he looked good. I thought he was getting on the ball, diving forward, hard to tackle, putting some balls into the box, which is what we want to see more of I think, unfortunately, that performance we need for a longer period of time. It looked like the last 20 minutes he might not been on the pitch. He was clearly knackered. Probably should have been took off. But there were signs there that of what I want to see from Berg and what we know he can do. We just need to see that on a much more regular basis. Onto the negatives. As I said, we were playing a poor side, and ultimately we've lost a game of football against a team that I can't really see how they've troubled us, but they've still managed to score 2 goals. And to lose in the manner we did is not acceptable. You know, we've battled, we've managed to get a goal in the 93rd minute to equalise. To concede and lose the game with 2 minutes to go, 2 minutes left on the clock, is not acceptable. We need to be coming away with a point from that at minimum. I think on the balance of play, we deserved minimum a point. We were the better team throughout, I felt. So to come away from that game with 0 points is very disappointing. And as I said, not acceptable. I mentioned earlier in the positives how we created more, or our attacking play was better. But when I actually look back, how many saves did we make their keeper make? He saved from McBurney's overhead kick in the first half, and Billy had a shot which he hit straight at him in the second. But over the course of the game, for the amount of possession and balls around the box we're having, we need to be testing the keeper more. So that's a negative. You know, as much as there was an improvement and a step up, it wasn't enough, and it clearly hasn't been enough to win the game. So we need to be testing the keeper more. And ultimately, we're going to go on to what we've been saying for probably 16, 17 months. Our midfield, as much as there were improvements, isn't up to the job anymore. There's a couple of players in there that just for whatever reason, whether it's confidence or fitness, I don't know, but they're just not doing the job we need them to do. And I think the squad on a whole need a revamp. We need to, whether we clear bodies out or just replace them and leave them in and around the squad for now. But we need probably 4, 5, 6 players in the next 10 days. These next 10 days are crucial for not only our season, but probably the future of the club moving forward. So the squad need to clear out. We need some fresh faces. We probably need some players that are going to fit into Jukanovic's system better, to play a style that I don't think at the moment we're playing to the style that he suits him best. So ultimately, as I said, the next 10 days are huge. We need to see some players probably in and out of the club to help us move forward. As I said, it's not the worst day at the office, but however much it's probably our best performance. We need to see some results on the pitch. We move on to Tuesday night in the Cup, and then hopefully some improvements in the league next week at Luton.
Well, I was going to shave, put some gel in the hair, put the United shirt on before I did this video. But then I thought if United can't be bothered, then really I can't be bothered either. And that's the way this team is making me feel. You know, at 0-0, the way we were playing in the first half and the way we were playing a lot of the second half, I thought, if it ends this way, we can pick some positives out of this, I suppose. And then Huddersfield scored. And I thought, well, maybe not. And then Billy Sharp scored. And I thought, yeah, we're going to be able to pick some positives out of this. We scored a goal. First one in almost 360 minutes of league play. Then Huddersfield scored again. And so it's up to me to say, where do we go from here? And I'm not going to sit here and say it can't get any worse, because we lived through last season. And every time we thought we hit a new rock bottom, we outdid ourselves. And we've lost back-to-back games in probably the 2 most heartbreaking fashions. One, just getting the doors blown off us at West Brom. And the other where we played better than the other team, couldn't score a goal, finally think we've rescued a point, and then lose at the death. I mean, that's just 2 sucker punches. Where do we go from here? Well, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And so if Big Slav doesn't want us to think he's insane, then it's time to ring the changes. And we'll have plenty of time to talk about Prince Abdullah and Steve Bettis and if they get the right players in or if they get any players in at the deadline. But right now we've got what we've got, and it's up to Slav to make some changes. Luke Freeman needs to play. Jaden Bogle needs to play. Arguably, Zach Brunt and Regan Slater need to play. Get the youngsters up front. If Jebuson's not going on loan, play him. Because whatever we've got is not working. And I think tactically, and I don't pretend to be a master tactician, but I think tactically we need to have somebody that can link up our midfield with our front two. Who's that person that's going to be creative and be that spark? And last season, to be fair, we all thought it would be Didsey. I don't think many of us are on that train of thinking anymore. Luke Freeman would be a popular choice. I think Berge has got a lot of talent. He showed it today. He didn't show it against West Brom. I'm not convinced playing him on the right of a midfield three suits his ability and skill set. I don't think he is the best crosser of the football in the world. So where does Sander Berge play? Do we sit him in front of a back three? Does that allow Basham to push forward more? I don't know. I thought the right side, Basham, Baldock, and Berge, they showed some great individual play today. They linked up well. But what did it result in? Overhit crosses that didn't find the right man. You name it. It just didn't work. So, where do we go from here, Blades fans? I wish I knew. Slavisa Jokanovic in his time at Fulham, and apologies to Statman Adam for stealing your job here, but he won 4 of his first 17 matches in charge at Fulham, and then still was able to get him promoted. So if we're looking for silver linings, there's one for you. But really, it's hard to pick the positives out of this past week of being a Sheffield United fan. So it's up to Big Slav, Prince Abdullah, and Stephen Bettis to see where we go from here. We'll see you next week. Up the Blades.